Hi, welcome back to another episode of Tape Time with Tom. My name is Chris, and today we'll be doing another round of VHS Haul, where we'll be talking about some of the VHS tapes that I've acquired over the last couple of months. This episode is going to be a lot smaller compared to some of the other ones. This is just from a handful of small, different places over the last month and a half or so. I have plenty of other big bins to go through, but just for the sake of getting stuff off the floor onto my shelves, we're just going to go take care of these ones real fast, and then we'll take care of the other big ones in the future. Yeah, we got stuff from a bunch of miscellaneous places: eBay, the drive-in, thrift store, bookstore, and stuff my mom found from someplace, probably from a thrift store. Without further ado, let's go ahead and hop to it. Alrighty, for this VHS haul, we're going to be jumping right into some of the stuff that I received from my mom, I imagine from a local thrift store or from someone who was just trying to get rid of some tapes that she happens to know. The actual movies are ones that I already have in my collection, so I'll go over those first, and then there's some other stuff that was included in there also, if that makes sense. So the movies from this thrift store or whatever it is from that my mom acquired. The first one is going to be Ocean's 11 from Steven Soderbergh. This is an outstanding movie. I love it. It has one of the absolute best casts of characters you could imagine in film history. I have to imagine, at least in the 21st century at least. George Clooney, Matt Damon, Andy Garcia, Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts, and then everyone else like Don Cheadle, Topher Grace pops in there, Matt Damon, Bernie Mac, Carl Reiner. Outstanding folks. This is an outstanding movie. I highly recommend it if you have not seen Ocean's 11. Next up is going to be probably, unfortunately, a misguided movie, though I haven't had actually a chance to watch it yet. It's going to be Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor. Again, I have not seen this movie. I feel like I ought to. I know a lot of people kind of rag on it, and I feel like, based upon my understanding of this movie, is that Michael Bay did this too soon. Like, I feel like if he wanted to get like a really big, basically like the equivalent of an Oppenheimer kind of movie under his belt, I feel like he should have waited at least another movie or so under his belt, finish getting ready, and then jump into something that's like prestige, like quote unquote prestige worthy, basically. With Pearl Harbor, it's an incredibly important story, but you know what, based on everything that I've heard, I feel like it's just not what it should have been. So I imagine in the next 20 years, 25 years, someone else will do another Pearl Harbor movie. And that's actually, I don't want to say better, but more respectful to everything else. It's also fun how on this VHS includes a Faith Hill music video called There You'll Be. I wonder if this is kind of like trying to pick up on Titanic, you know? Only time will tell. I'll have to watch this at some point and let you know. Cool. And the last one of the movies that I already have in my collection from this first collection is just Jurassic Park. Who hasn't seen Jurassic Park? Raise your hands. And if you haven't seen Jurassic Park, go watch the Jurassic Park commentary that I already did for this channel. Yeah, this movie is great. I have watched this many times. It's Steven Spielberg, came out in '93. It's outstanding. Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, Richard Attenborough. Just listen cast names. All right, so these are stuff that you can't log on Letterboxd. These are just travelogue VHS tapes. One of them is from the National Geographic Society, Discover Russia. Another one's going to be is from Reader's Digest for the Grand Canyon. And the last one is going to be from, I guess it's Vid Traveler. I guess that's what the brand's called. But it's just about Alaska. This one's like 30 minutes, the other one's 30 minutes, and I think the Grand Canyon's like an hour. Yeah, I don't know. I might be able to learn something fun. I've always wanted to go to Alaska, so someday might have to. That's everything from that first section. The next one is just a single VHS tape I got from my local bookstore. It was free, and it says not tested on there, but it is called Afro Classics Folktales Volume 1. I have to imagine this was a extremely low budget and just distribution. There's not a lot about this online for whatever reason, but yeah, I think this will be a lot of fun to try to watch. This is from 1994 from Leo Sullivan, distributed by Vignette Multimedia in Los Angeles. If there's a volume 1, there's most likely a volume 2. But yeah, got this from my bookstore. I gave them my name and my number in the hopes that if other people just happen to accidentally drop off VHS tapes, instead of tossing them out, they'll just send them over to me. Fingers crossed, nothing's picked up yet. We'll find out. So I got 2 VHS tapes off of eBay, and this is really just because I really wanted to pick them up because I wanted them in my collection. The first one is going to be the all-time classic, David Lynch's Mulholland Drive, which I have not seen. I have a reason for not seeing this just yet. I'm a big David Lynch fan. I just finished rewatching Twin Peaks, first 2 seasons. We're working our way up to The Return. A close friend of mine, he had recommended that since I have not seen Mulholland Drive yet, that I wait to see it in theaters for the first time. Now, the way I see it is, even though I jumped on buying this on tape because I was impulsive and I really wanted to own it, I find that if I watch this on a small enough screen on VHS, it'll be different enough from watching it on the big screen. Like you'll be able to say like, oh, I watched it on theaters for the first time, even though I watched it on a 17-inch little VHS TV in my basement. But yeah, I love David Lynch. I can't wait to actually dive into watching this. I know nothing about this movie. I've seen some things, but I have no idea what they actually mean. I'm extremely excited to watch this. This is gonna be a lot of fun. And the next movie I got from eBay, which is really just because I thought I already had it and I didn't for whatever reason, and it's, again, the all-time classic, Van Helsing. I genuinely love this movie. I watched this probably 100 times when I was younger, when it came out. I don't know if I saw this in theaters, but I definitely watched it on DVD like a million times. And I thought I had this on tape. Apparently I didn't. It'll be a lot of fun to watch this. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the whole Universal horror movies like Frankenstein, Dracula, and The Wolfman. And I love how all of those and some more are like weaved into this plot. Plus Hugh Jackman's great. Kate Beckinsale is great. Let me go ahead and just read you the back of this box because I think it's fun. So legendary monster hunter Van Helsing, played by Hugh Jackman, is summoned to mysterious Transylvania on a mission that will thrust him into a sweeping battle against the forces of darkness. With non-stop action and electrifying special effects, Van Helsing is an adrenaline-powered motion picture event Roger Ebert calls spectacular. I imagine Roger Ebert has said a lot of other things, mostly negative, in response to this movie. I'll have to look up to see what his actual review is, but I'm willing to bet, Editor Chris, put this in, whether I'm right or not, I'm willing to bet he put in 2 stars for this movie. I would put 5 stars because I love it. This movie is fantastic. But yeah, Van Helsing is great. If you haven't seen it, you gotta go see it. I respect your decision if you don't like it, but if you do like it, we're gonna be friends. I know that much. Cool. Okay, so I got a small handful of stuff from eBay, the local drive-in. I should have mentioned these tapes in my Camp Blood video, but I forgot. So what are you gonna do? When we went to Camp Blood, I got a couple of tapes, and now is the time for me to talk about them. First up is going to be the Walt Disney classic 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, starring Kirk Douglas, and I had no idea that James Mason was in here as Captain Nemo, as well as Peter Lorre was in this also. I don't think I've seen this movie. I know I've seen some of the other like Disney, like Fantastic Island, which is I think technically a sequel to this, but I grew up watching that one. I'm pretty sure it's called Fantastic Island. But no, I don't think I've ever seen 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and I am very much excited to finally watch this. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Next up is going to be Brad Pitt in Dark Side of the Sun. This movie, I feel like I have to read the back of this one because this one's gonna be interesting. In his feature film debut, Brad Pitt's star quality comes shining through. So Brad Pitt portrays a dying young man who travels the world in search of a cure and instead discovers the love of a lifetime. So begins a romantic odyssey of motorcycles, mansions, and mischief as he decides to make each day count against his doctor's orders and despite the ultimate risk. You know, basic story, that's fine. But what I found most interesting was this second part down at the bottom. Filmed more than a decade ago in Yugoslavia, Dark Side of the Sun was nearly destroyed during post-production as civil war ravaged the country. But after an exhaustive search and several dangerous recovery efforts, this courageous love story can finally see the light of day. Like, if this movie was just like Brad Pitt's feature film debut, I would have been, you know, lowercase I interested. The story itself is something that I don't really care for. Brad Pitt sounds great. But after hearing this last little bit about how it being almost lost in Yugoslavia, that's what piqued my interest. So I'm very much interested in seeing what this movie is all about. It sounds interesting. Capital I, interesting, sure. All right, next up is going to be Warren Beatty's Reds from, what year is this? 1982. This is a double, just kind of like Pearl Harbor, this is going to be a double VHS box. This stars, Diane Keaton and Jack Nicholson. I know a little bit about this movie, but not much. I know it involves communist Russia, and I think Warren Beatty is an American communist who goes over there during the revolution. I'm not quite sure what else, but I know it's apparently one of the most nominated movies in 82 for the, well, apparently to that back of the box from the past 15 years. So, you know, I'm interested in watching this. This is 195 minutes, so like 3 hours and 15 minutes. So this will be a fun January movie to put on, and hopefully it's not going to be homework, but we'll find out. You know what I'm saying? All right, next up from the drive-in is going to be the Final Fantasy movie, The Spirits Within, which I have no concept of what this means. I have never played any Final Fantasy game. I was intrigued and I picked this up simply because this was animated movies on VHS post 2001, and I think this was 2000. Yeah, this is 2001 is when it was released. So, yeah, if anyone out there knows the lore of Final Fantasy and how it, you know, the game goes into the movie series, please let me know, because I have no idea. And if enough people want me to watch this for the channel, I'll watch it for the channel. I can't wait. I just want some suggestions. Cool. All right, well, moving on. Next up is going to be from CBS Fox Video. This is 12 O'Clock High, starring Gregory Peck from 1949. This movie is really good. I saw this a couple years ago. It was hyped up by Rian Johnson. This was hyped up by Rian Johnson. Apparently this was one of his influences for his Star Wars movie. And I watched it and I thought, this is pretty cool. So I'm happy to finally pick it up and everything. I remember reading how for a while this movie had the record for the most expensive stunt in cinema because they crashed a plane. They actually, like, it's not what they did with in Tenet, you know, where they just had a plane on the ground go into a building. Like, they had a plane that was flying and then they crashed it into the ground. Not like down, but like it was a controlled crash. But yeah, this is a kick-ass movie. I highly recommend it. It's really good. Go watch it. Alrighty. Next up from the drive-in is I picked up a movie called Macon County Line. I unfortunately don't remember specifically why I had this movie on my watch list, but I had it on my watch list. And when I saw it at the drive-in, I was like, you know what? We're gonna go get this movie because I wanted to watch this. Do I remember why? I don't know. But I'm excited to, that's for sure. All right, up next is gonna be the Tim Burton remake, I don't know, of Planet of the Apes starring Mark Wahlberg. I remember when this movie came out, and I remember watching some of it. I don't think I saw it in theaters, but I distinctly remember the ending. And I was like, what the hell is happening? What's up with that? That don't make no sense. Or it's just a revision? I don't know, it's weird. Having not seen this in a long time, probably in 20 years. This came out in 2001, I think. Yeah, this came out in 2001. I probably haven't seen this in 20 years. I'm looking forward to rewatching this and seeing what it's all about again. I'm a big fan of the most recent Planet of the Apes trilogy that came out a couple years ago, because we had Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and then War for the Planet of the Apes. I didn't see the first one in theaters, but after watching it, I was like, yeah, we're going to go see it. I think Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is on par with The Dark Knight for like the transition from a first movie, just ratcheting it up to the second movie. I think Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is an excellent Shakespearean drama that's extremely emotional, action-packed, horrific, has some awesome cinematography and action in acting for that matter. And Andy Serkis ought to get an Oscar one of these days for his stuff, at least an honorary one or something, because he did a fantastic job in those movies. I can't say for the same thing for the Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. I know this one's highly regarded as low-key trash, and I kind of can't wait to rewatch this and see how bad it is again, because I don't remember. Yeah. Last but not least, this is some stuff I got from a thrift store. We are sequestering these tapes from the others, unfortunately, in a little bit of a quarantine, because as I was getting ready to do this video, I noticed that some of them started developing some mold on the tapes themselves. Now, since the last video, I have gotten some stuff, and I've been working on some tests for treating the mold. I hope to make a video on that soon, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about these tapes today, just for the sake of talking about them. But I hope to be able to use these ones for the first trial, not necessarily for testing purposes, just for like treating purposes once I get the test done, so I could get them on my shelves once I figure out this solution, basically. But so yeah, all these are going to stay in this bag, unfortunately, but I really wish I could put them on my shelves because a lot of them are really cool. We'll go ahead and start off with this one. This one is on, like when I was looking at the tape, it's fine, but since they're all in one bag, I'm keeping them all together. Just treat them precautionarily, basically, before I put them on my shelf. But yeah, this is going to be The Exorcist. From William Friedkin, the late great William Friedkin. I already have this on VHS. I probably picked it up from the drive-in a couple last year or so. But if I see this in a while, I'm gonna go pick it up because it's a great movie. Yeah. So this is a special edition, the widescreen version of The Exorcist. So this is gonna be kind of fun to rewatch and everything. This also has some special features, including a documentary produced by the BBC, The Fear of God: The Making of The Exorcist, and 3 original theatrical trailers, and an all-new introduction by William Friedkin. Yeah, this movie is amazing. I can't wait to finally watch this again on tape, specifically on widescreen. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Next up is going to be Jim Carrey in The Truman Show. I have seen, I can't say, so unfortunately I'm going to be I have to be a little honest. I don't think I've ever seen The Truman Show all the way through. I know the gist of this movie. I've seen kind of like Jaws and most recently Twilight. I feel like I know the gist of this movie. I feel like I've consumed enough of it via pop culture to say that I've seen it, but I don't think I know the whole flow of things, unfortunately. So I'm very excited to finally watch The Truman Show all the way through because I know this movie is really good. And Jim Carrey does a fantastic job. So it'll be a lot of fun to have him come back into a movie similar to this. But yeah, can't wait to watch it. All right. Up next is going to be This Boy's Life, starring Robert De Niro, Ellen Barkin, and Leonardo DiCaprio, and directed by Michael Caton-Jones. So this was their first collaboration, and I'm pretty sure the story was De Niro worked with DiCaprio, and then he told Scorsese about it and was like, this kid's pretty good. And it's kind of fun having them work together so many years later. Almost, 30 years later. Finally, I think this is officially their first movie they worked together since this. Plus, this is unopened, so I know this one's going to be good. for the mold and everything, but I'll go through the whole process and everything. So always fun to find an unopened movie in the wild. Up next is going to be the all-time cult classic, Highlander. Cue the there could only be one Mr. SpongeBob.
There can be only one!
Because I just love how Clancy Brown is the bad guy in this, and I think it's great. I've seen this movie a long time ago. It's a hoot. I know Christopher Lambert does a horrible Scottish accent because he's French, I'm pretty sure. And then Sean Connery's Egyptian. I don't know how that makes sense, but Highlander's dope. I have it on DVD, but always willing to pick it up on VHS, that's for sure. Up next is going to be one of my all-time favorite movies, The Piano, which I believe this won the Palme d'Or at Cannes, and it was nominated for a bunch of stuff at the Academy Awards. This is from Jane Campion, stars Holly Hunter, Harvey Keitel, and Sam Neill. I saw this movie in school, and this is one of those movies that just kind of stuck with me for a long time. Finally rewatched it at a certain point. I was like, yeah, man, this movie is outstanding. And it also opens up to a little fold out kind of thing. Ain't that fun? And this is technically, I don't think this is technically a preview screening, but it does say pre-order date and straight date on the back, so this kind of leads me to believe that this might be presented to video stores and stuff. But no, yeah, The Piano is great. I love it. I have it on Blu-ray. I watched it earlier this year. It's fantastic. I highly recommend it. Cool. Okie dokie. Up next we have Working Girl by Mike Nichols, starring Harrison Ford, Melanie Griffith, and Sigourney Weaver. I unfortunately have not seen this movie. I'm pretty sure when I was younger I confused this movie with the Dolly Parton one, 9 to 5, but I feel like those would be a good double feature. I'm always dying to find more movies where Harrison Ford and Sigourney Weaver are acting against type, basically, not in sci-fi action movies. So this will be a lot of fun to finally sit down and actually watch. Nominated for 6 Academy Awards. I can't wait to watch this. This is going to be a lot of fun. From 1988. Yeah, this will be good. Can't wait to watch it. Cool. The next one is one that I have seen. The other 3 are ones that I haven't. This next movie is going to be Sex, Lies, and Videotape, also from Steven Soderbergh. This stars James Spader, Andy McDowell, Peter Gallagher, and Laura San Giacomo. This movie is outstanding, and I'm so happy that I managed to find this in the wild, because I'm pretty sure my parents had a copy of this when I was younger. At a certain point in my life, they got rid of it. Why? I don't know. Probably because it says Sex, Lies, and Videotape on the cover, and it's like, this is not a movie that a child should be watching. So I imagine they tossed it, or they put it, or they donated it, or they gave it to someone else, or someone just stole it, or it's still in my house. I have no idea. I had known about this movie for a long time. And when I started getting into Steven Soderbergh in college, I finally got around to watching this. It's like, yeah, this movie is pretty good. So I had this on Blu-ray from Criterion also. Having found this in the wild, I figured, why not? Let's go ahead and grab it. If you have not seen this, I highly recommend it. It's excellent. Cool. So these 3 last movies are, I'll be blunt with you, pretty trashy looking. And I would really just want to pick them up because when I'm in the wild and something catches my eye, I'll go on Letterboxd and see how many people have watched this. And for all 3 of these movies, very little people have logged them. And for whatever reason, they are either just not streaming anywhere. There's no good Blu-ray release or any other kind of physical media for them, or it's just horrible. But even bad movies are interesting to watch sometimes. So I'm very curious to see why these movies don't have a wider berth, online and stuff. The first one is going to be called Steel Justice. You don't recruit John Steele, you unleash him. This movie looks dope as hell. From 87, 95 minutes from Good Times. The Vietnam War didn't end for John Steele, it just changed location. Martin Cove from Cagney and Lacey stars Steele, a battle-hardened, spirit-scarred vet unable to find his niche in mainstream America. But when Southern California's drug-running Vietnamese mafia murders his best friend, Steele finds a new war to fight and unleashes an action-packed array of blazing firepower and deadly finesse known as Steel Justice. I did not read the back of these boxes when I picked them up. I just got them on cover alone. This movie looks dope as hell, and I can't wait to watch this. The only downside is I know there's a little bit of that mold on there, so this will be one of the ones that I'll probably going to be started cleaning first once I get the solution down. Yeah, Steel Justice. I'm definitely going to watch this on a double feature with something. Cool. Next up is going to be a movie called Sweet Poison. Murder, deceit, betrayal, and that was only the beginning. From 1996, 101 minutes. I know none of the actors in this movie, and it's directed by Brian Grant. Yeah, so married couple Henry and Charlene Odell are traveling cross-country to attend a family funeral. When their paths cross... married couple Henry and Charlene Odell are traveling cross-country to attend a funeral. When their paths cross, the stage is set for heart-pounding suspense and steamy romantic intrigue. What the hell does that mean? Doesn't make any... I thought they were traveling together. Why is their paths cross? I don't know. Taking the rap for his brother, Bobby has good reasons to return and settle the score. He ambushes and kidnaps the Odells, forcing them to take him home. While eluding the police on the treacherous journey, Bobby noticed that all is not well with his captive's marriage. As passion, jealousy, and long-simmering frustration surface, Bobby and Charlene become embroiled in a torrid affair with only one person in their way, her husband. Yeah, this movie, like I said earlier, looks trashy as hell. But I'm intrigued to see how trashy it goes. You know, it's just one of those things. You want to see the dumpster fire. And maybe it's good, I don't know. Maybe everyone's wrong. Can't wait to find out. And the last movie for VHS Haul number 9 is the all-time classic, I have to imagine, Naked Lies, starring Shannon Tweed. Again, I got these movies for Letterboxd count number 1, and also because of how trashy they sound. And this movie seems downright dumpster fire. Let's read the back of this one too. Sexy Shannon Tweed, former Playboy playmate and star of Human Desires, stars as an undercover agent sent on a covert operation in Mexico. She has a gun, virtually no backup, and no way out. She uses all her weapons, including her brains and body, against a Playboy counterfeiter and his sadistic henchman. Co-starring Stephen Bauer and Mexican superstar Fernando Allende in his American film debut. Naked Lies is a seductive thriller of suspicion, betrayal, and suspense. There we go. This is from 1997 and is 93 minutes. Oh, and the tagline is Shannon Tweed has an offer you can't refuse. Yeah, this movie sounds like it's a fun time to watch. What am I supposed to say? Yeah, so this is all the movies that I got in the last couple of months or so for my VHS haul. For the stuff that I bought personally, like going out of my way to get. Van Helsing is great, Mulholland Drive is great. I can't wait to watch it, rather. And the stuff that I managed to find in the wild at the drive-in, I'm very excited to finally watch Macon County Drive. I don't remember why I wanted to watch it, but I'm very excited to watch it. And then the stuff that I found at the thrift store, I'm very excited to having found Sex, Lies, and Videotape. Well, that's about it for today. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know which of these movies that you want me to watch for the channel. Let me know what your favorite is. Yeah, always rewind, but more importantly, be kind. See you guys next time.